Let me tell you something that could change your life forever. You are one skill away from your first $1 million. Not 5 skills, not 10, 1. And the moment you master it, not halfway, not almost, but master it, your life will never be the same again. Some people think they need better connections. Others think they need a better economy, a better background, a better education. But none of that is true. The only thing you need is to master the skill of making irresistible offers and the courage to present those offers again and again and again. Let's break this down. You are only one skill away from changing your entire financial reality, and that skill is not what most people think. It's not coding, copywriting, or crypto investing. It's not public speaking, not graphic design, not even leadership in the traditional sense. The one skill that separates struggling entrepreneurs from 7-figure earners is the ability to craft and present irresistible offers. Offers so compelling that people don't just want them. They feel like they need them. That's the difference between surviving in business and thriving in it. See, most people are stuck in the mindset that more effort equals more income. They work harder, put in longer hours, chase more clients, learn more strategies, and still find themselves stuck in the same financial loop. But the truth is, we don't live in a labor economy anymore. We live in an offer economy. The people making the most money are not always the smartest or the most experienced or even the most innovative. They're the ones who have learned how to structure and present offers that communicate value instantly and convert consistently. An offer is not just a product or a service. It's a promise. It's a clearly defined solution to a clearly felt problem. When someone sees your offer, they should immediately say, "This is exactly what I've been looking for." That reaction doesn't come from luck or manipulation. It comes from clarity. Clarity in the problem you're solving. Clarity in the outcome you promise. Clarity in the steps someone needs to take to get there. Most people throw their product out into the world and hope people will understand the value. But value doesn't speak for itself. You have to speak for it through the power of your offer. Once you understand that, you stop trying to sell through effort and start selling through alignment. The market rewards those who solve specific problems with conviction and confidence. If you've got a skill, an insight, or an experience that can solve someone's pain point, you already have everything you need. All that's missing is the ability to frame it in a way that makes people see it as urgent and essential. That's what mastering the art of offers gives you. It gives you leverage. Leverage is how you stop trading time for money and start scaling your impact and income. When you learn how to build high converting offers, your whole approach to business changes. You stop begging for attention and start commanding it. You stop discounting your prices and start raising your value. Because now you understand the difference between a commodity and a solution. A commodity is what everyone else is selling. A solution is what your ideal client is desperately searching for. When you become known for solving a painful, specific problem in a powerful, predictable way, you don't just become successful. You become necessary. This isn't about hype or manipulation. It's about service. The best offers come from a place of deeply understanding the people you're trying to help. What keeps them up at night? What's frustrating them every day? What dreams do they have that they're quietly giving up on? Your offer should speak to that. It should show them a path from their current struggle to their desired future. And it should do it in a way that feels simple, believable, and exciting. When you can do that, selling doesn't feel like selling anymore. It feels like serving at the highest level. People often think they need more traffic, more followers, or more visibility to make their first million. But visibility without conversion is just noise. You don't need the world to know who you are. You just need the right people to hear the right message at the right time. That message is your offer. When crafted correctly, your offer becomes a magnet. It pulls in the people who are already looking for what you have. It shortens the sales cycle, increases your income, and builds your reputation faster than any social media hack ever could. The power of an offer lies in how deeply it resonates with the person you created it for. When someone sees themselves in your message, when they feel seen, heard, and understood, they take action. They don't delay, they don't hesitate, they buy. Because your offer didn't just sell a product, it spoke to a pain. It didn't just explain features, it communicated freedom. That's the key. That's the one skill. And if you master it, the marketplace will reward you not just with income, but with influence, impact, and legacy. Most people walk through life thinking they need permission to be successful. They believe they need more credentials, more followers, a bigger team, or some perfect set of circumstances to finally get their breakthrough. But success doesn't bow to conditions. It bows to conviction. We're living in a world that doesn't reward people just because they work hard. It rewards those who can create and communicate value with clarity and confidence. And in this new economy, the highest paid individuals aren't the ones with the most experience. They're the ones who know how to make offers that are simply too good to ignore. Think about it. Every time someone gets paid, it's because they made an offer, a job offer, a service offer, a product offer. Money always moves to offers, not effort, not time offers. That means if you can master the art of crafting offers that solve specific problems, you can create income at will. You don't need luck. You don't need connections. You need the skill to look someone in the eye, whether digitally or in person, and say, I understand your problem, and here's exactly how I can help you solve it. That is the power that turns struggling businesses into 6- and 7-figure empires. The reason so many people fail to reach financial freedom is not because they don't have what it takes, but because they are packaging their value in the wrong way. They focus on the mechanics instead of the messaging. They talk about the features of what they do rather than the transformation they can provide. And because of that, they blend in with the noise. They sound like everyone else. But when you learn how to make your offer stand out by focusing on results, outcomes, and emotion, you start to create real momentum. People don't want to buy things. They want to buy better versions of themselves. And your offer is the bridge between where they are now and where they want to be. In this new economy, attention is expensive and trust is everything. People don't trust ads, brands, or flashy promises. They trust clarity. When your offer is clear, specific, and grounded in truth, it cuts through the noise. It doesn't try to impress, it connects. It doesn't confuse, it converts. And that's what separates an offer that sits in someone's inbox from one that gets purchased. The clearer your offer, the faster your path to cash. Clarity is currency. Confusion costs you everything. Many entrepreneurs are stuck in what I call the hustle loop. They're grinding, chasing, pushing, but they never pause to ask themselves, is my offer clear, compelling, and irresistible? They're focusing on tactics instead of strategy. But no amount of marketing will save a weak offer. If you don't have a message that moves people, no funnel will fix it. That's why the most valuable skill you can develop is the ability to take what you know, package it into a compelling offer, and present it with confidence to the people who need it most. You don't need more hustle. You need a better offer. A good offer isn't just about pricing or bonuses. It's about positioning. It's about understanding your audience so deeply that when you speak, they feel like you read their mind. That's what makes an offer convert. It doesn't start with a script. It starts with empathy. What are they struggling with? What have they tried that didn't work? What's keeping them from their next level? Your offer should be the answer to those questions. When people feel understood, they trust you. And when they trust you, they buy. The transaction becomes a natural extension of the transformation you're offering. So while others are obsessing over algorithms and engagement hacks, you should be obsessing over outcomes. What transformation can you help someone create? What result can you promise and deliver? When you can articulate that clearly and back it up with proof, your offer becomes magnetic. People won't just want it. They'll tell others about it. And that's when your brand stops being a hustle and starts becoming a movement. A great offer doesn't just generate income, it generates momentum, influence, and trust at scale. At the core of every successful business, every viral product, every sold out launch, there's always one thing in common: a clear, confident offer that connects deeply with a specific audience. It's not about complexity, it's about precision. It's not about doing more, it's about saying it better. And when you make that shift in your thinking, you stop being a content creator or service provider. You become a solution provider. That's where the real breakthroughs happen. That's where your income becomes a byproduct of the value you create, the problems you solve, and the clarity with which you present it to the world. An offer isn't a sales pitch. It's a declaration of value. It's a clear message that says, I understand what you're going through, and I have a solution that works. Most people spend their lives learning how to do things, but they never learn how to communicate the value of what they do in a way that moves people to take action. That's why people with less talent and less knowledge often make more money. They've mastered the one thing that matters most: presenting an offer that speaks directly to someone's pain and paints a picture of a better future. That's the difference between income and impact. That's the shift that opens the door to abundance. When you create an offer, you're not just listing services or describing a product. You're stepping into the shoes of your customer and walking them through the emotional journey of transformation. You're identifying where they are, exposing the frustration they feel, and then showing them what's possible when they choose to take action. Great offers don't just list benefits. They awaken desire. They stir hope. They speak to the version of a person who's tired of settling and ready to break through. That's what real persuasion looks like, not manipulation, but resonance. When people feel seen, they listen. When they feel understood, they trust. And when they trust, they buy. This is why the marketplace doesn't just reward those who know things. It rewards those who know how to frame what they know in a way that's relevant and urgent. You could be sitting on a skill, a story, or a strategy that could change someone's life, but if you can't position it as the solution to a real problem, it stays hidden. It doesn't matter how powerful your offer is if no one can understand what it will do for them. That's why clarity is not optional. It's essential. People are not buying your process, they're buying their promised outcome. The faster you can help them see that outcome, the faster they'll say yes. Many people confuse having a business with having a product to sell. But the truth is, a product without a compelling offer is just inventory. It just sits there. The offer is what gives it life. It's the way you package and position your product or service that makes someone feel like they can't afford to wait another day. The offer is what transforms hesitation into decision. So if you're not getting the results you want, don't assume something's wrong with your product. Look at the offer. Is it clear? Is it urgent? Does it promise a specific, meaningful transformation that your audience truly cares about? Every successful entrepreneur has one thing in common. They've learned how to make people believe. Not just believe in them, but believe in the outcome they're offering. That belief doesn't come from hype or exaggeration. It comes from certainty. And certainty is created when your offer speaks to real results. When it breaks things down so simply and powerfully that the person on the other end feels like it's already theirs. That's why repetition alone doesn't create results. Resonance does. You can shout your message from the rooftops, but if it doesn't resonate, it doesn't convert. The offer must connect deeply, emotionally, and immediately. You don't need a massive following to make a massive impact. You need a message that is so aligned with your audience's needs that it cuts through the noise and becomes impossible to ignore. That message is delivered through your offer. Your offer is your message in action. It's how you tell someone, I see you, I know what you're struggling with, and I've built something just for you. It doesn't have to be complex. In fact, the simpler the offer, the more powerful it often becomes. Clarity outperforms complexity every single time. When your audience sees the path you're laying out, they're more likely to walk it with you. The biggest breakthroughs happen when you stop asking, how do I get more customers? And start asking, how can I serve better with what I already have? That's where powerful offers are born. Not from desperation to make a sale, but from a deep desire to create transformation. When you design your offer with the outcome in mind, everything changes. Your price makes sense. Your value becomes obvious. Your marketing becomes effortless. Because you're no longer trying to convince people, you're just inviting them to take the next step toward a better future, one that your offer makes possible. Most people are afraid to make offers because they're afraid of rejection. But rejection isn't about you, it's about resonance. If the offer doesn't connect, it won't convert. And that's not personal, that's strategic. Instead of shrinking back, refine your message. Dig deeper into the pain points. Get clearer on the solution. When you understand that every no is just a clue pointing you toward a better yes, you stop fearing the process and start mastering it. You stop holding back and start stepping forward. Because the moment your offer becomes undeniable, your income becomes predictable. Most people think that to make their first million, they need to have all the answers, build the perfect product, or spend years mastering complicated strategies. But the truth is, the only thing you need to master is one powerful, overlooked skill, the ability to make offers that people feel compelled to say yes to. That single skill can change the game entirely. Not because it makes you slick or persuasive in a manipulative way, but because it teaches you how to deeply connect with people's problems and confidently present a solution that feels obvious, urgent, and valuable. It's easy to get distracted by tactics, funnels, ads, content branding, all the moving pieces. But tactics without a compelling offer are like trying to build a mansion on sand. You can drive all the traffic in the world to a page. But if the offer isn't strong, the result will always be disappointment. What most entrepreneurs fail to realize is that a great offer does the heavy lifting. When it's dialed in, The conversion happens naturally. You're not pushing. You're not chasing. You're simply presenting something that aligns with exactly what your audience already wants in a way that makes them feel understood and empowered to take action. When someone sees your offer, they should instantly feel like it was made for them. They should be able to recognize themselves in the problem you describe and see their future in the solution you provide. The clarity of that connection is everything. It's not about clever words or flashy bonuses. It's about relevance, simplicity, and precision. Most people lose the sale because they're too vague or too broad. They try to be everything to everyone and end up reaching no one. But when you get specific, when you focus on one person, one problem, one powerful promise, you gain momentum. Offers that work are not built on hype, they're built on trust. And trust doesn't come from making wild claims. It comes from being able to articulate the journey someone will go through from where they are now to where they want to be, and doing it with conviction and clarity. And people don't buy based on logic, they buy based on belief. They want to believe that the problem they're facing has a solution. They want to believe that you can guide them to the other side. When you can communicate that with confidence, belief turns into buying behavior, and that's when everything starts to change. There's a massive difference between selling something and offering transformation. When you're focused on just making a sale, your energy is scattered. You're trying to convince, to persuade, to prove yourself. But when your offer is built around genuine transformation, around solving a meaningful problem, you don't have to force anything. The value speaks for itself. You become a magnet for the right people. Your offer resonates on a deeper level because it's not just transactional, it's transformational. And when people sense that, they respond. This is where your power begins to grow. You stop thinking like a seller and start thinking like a problem solver. Every time you talk to a potential client, you're no longer trying to get something. You're offering something that makes their life better. That shift in mindset is what makes your confidence real. And people can feel that. They can tell when you're offering something that's truly built to serve them rather than something you're pushing just to hit a number. That's why mastering the skill of crafting offers is so critical. It forces you to become more aware, more intentional, and more aligned with your purpose. The ability to build offers that convert is one of the few business skills that pays you back exponentially. Every offer you refine, every message you improve, every outcome you clarify, it all stacks. Over time, your confidence grows, your process sharpens, and your income compounds. The better you get at creating offers, the more predictable your revenue becomes. You won't be waiting for a miracle or a viral moment. You'll be operating from a place of certainty, knowing that your offer can generate income whenever you put it in front of the right people. And here's the most freeing part. You don't need to be the best in the world at what you do. You just need to be the best in the room at articulating how you can help. That clarity alone will outperform complexity every single time. You don't need to add more to your plate. You don't need to wait until everything is perfect. What you need is to look at what you already have, your knowledge, your experience, your story, and ask, how can I turn this into an offer that truly helps someone and makes them excited to say yes? That's the doorway to your first million. Not 100 different skills, just one mastered fully. Every day, people scroll past hundreds of messages, offers, and opportunities without stopping. Not because they're not interested, but because most messages don't speak to their real need. They don't grab attention or create connection. That's why the only skill you need to make your first million isn't more education, more funding, or even more time. It's the ability to create offers that capture hearts and minds instantly. Offers that reach into the pain someone's living with and say, I know what you're going through, and I've built something just for you. That skill alone separates noise from influence, interest from income, and desire from decision. At the core of every breakthrough offer is deep understanding. Not surface level awareness of your audience, but true empathy. You have to know what keeps them awake at night, what they've tried that didn't work, and what they secretly hope someone out there can help them fix. That level of insight doesn't come from data. It comes from listening, from conversations, from being willing to step into the world of the person you want to help. When you operate from that space, your offer doesn't sound like a pitch. It sounds like a lifeline. It becomes the obvious next step for the person who's ready to move forward. One of the biggest traps is believing that your offer has to be complex to be valuable. But in reality, simplicity sells. People don't want 1,000 features. They want a clear result. They want to know where you're taking them and how quickly they can get there. That's why offers that perform the best are those that eliminate friction. They don't overwhelm the buyer with options. They offer one path, one promise, and one outcome. And when you can confidently lead someone down that path, they stop hesitating. They stop researching and start responding. Because you've made the decision easier than the problem they're living with. People don't buy when they understand you. They buy when they feel understood by you. That's the secret that most business owners miss. They try to explain what they do, list out all the features, talk about credentials and experience, hoping it will be enough. But the real magic happens when your message mirrors someone's reality. When they read or hear your offer and think, that's exactly what I need. Not because you forced it, but because your clarity created trust. And trust is the currency that drives every transaction, every conversion, and every meaningful relationship in business. When your offer resonates, you don't have to chase people. They come to you. You stop being just another option and become the only choice. This isn't about charisma or slick sales techniques. It's about knowing how to take what you already know and do and communicate it in a way that brings peace to someone's chaos, answers to their confusion, and confidence to their decision. It's not your product that creates success. It's the offer wrapped around it. The offer is the delivery system for belief, clarity, and confidence. Get that right and everything else falls into place. There's a reason some people struggle for years and others create success in months. It comes down to how quickly they can learn to present value in a way that feels personal, urgent, and powerful. Most of the world operates in a transactional mindset, but wealth is built through transformation. If your offer changes someone's life, their business, their health, their mindset, then you have a responsibility to get it in front of them. And the more clearly you communicate that transformation, the more effortlessly the right people will say yes. That's when your business shifts from surviving to scaling. Crafting offers is not a one-time event. It's a skill you refine over time. You try, test, listen, adjust. You learn what hits and what misses. But every step is forward motion. The more you practice, the more intuitive it becomes. You start to notice patterns. You learn what makes people pause, what makes them nod, what makes them click. And you realize that success isn't about shouting louder. It's about speaking clearer. When your message cuts through the clutter It doesn't have to compete, it simply connects. That's how offers evolve into assets, tools that generate consistent income and impact. The beauty of mastering offers is that it frees you from dependence. You're no longer at the mercy of the algorithm, the ad platform, or the marketplace. You can create cash flow on demand because you've learned to create offers that people want, need, and are ready to invest in. That freedom is the real power behind this skill. You could pivot industries, shift audiences, or repackage your expertise and still win, because the core principle remains: if you can identify a specific problem and present a compelling solution, you can write your own ticket. That's the skill that builds businesses, moves markets, and creates millionaires. Every day, thousands of people scroll, click browse, and consume content, yet only a few are moved enough to act. The difference doesn't lie in the information being presented, but in how it's offered. The marketplace doesn't reward the person with the most talent, the most knowledge, or even the most experience. It rewards the person who knows how to present value in a way that resonates instantly. That's why the most critical skill you can develop if you want to create wealth, real, consistent, transformative wealth, is the ability to make powerful, irresistible offers. Offers that reach through hesitation, confusion, and fear, and create clarity, belief, and action. You don't need to be a genius to create an offer that works. You need to understand the problem better than the person experiencing it. When someone feels like you understand their struggle even better than they do, they instantly trust you to lead them out of it. That trust is everything. People are not looking for more options. They're drowning in options. What they want is certainty. They want someone to say, this is what you're going through, this is why it's happening, and here's how we're going to fix it. When your offer delivers that level of confidence, price becomes secondary. The transformation becomes the focus. The best offers are not built on features. They're built on emotional connection. Someone doesn't buy your coaching because it includes 12 calls and a workbook. They buy because they want freedom, clarity, peace of mind, or the ability to finally reach a goal they've failed at for years. When you tap into the emotions that are driving someone's behavior, you can present a solution that feels inevitable. That's why the offer must start with empathy. You must understand what they're afraid of, what they dream about, what they've tried, and what they're sick of. Then and only then can you build something that truly matters. What holds most people back isn't a lack of ability, it's a lack of offer clarity. They know what they do, but they can't explain it in a way that makes someone else want it. They talk in generalities instead of specifics. They speak in terms of the process instead of the result. And in doing so, they miss the moment of connection. The brain makes decisions emotionally, then justifies them logically. So if your offer doesn't spark an emotional response first, no amount of logic will close the gap. That's why clarity is not just helpful, it's profitable. The clearer your message, the faster your business moves. An effective offer simplifies the decision-making process. When someone sees your offer, they should immediately know what they're getting, why it matters, and what it will do for them. Confusion is the enemy of conversion. The moment someone feels like they have to figure it out, they're gone. So your job is to eliminate doubt, remove friction, and speak so directly to their need that the only logical next step is action. That doesn't come from adding more bonuses or stacking value. It comes from being so clear, so focused, and so tuned into their world that your offer becomes the obvious solution. Every product, service, or idea must be wrapped in an offer that positions it as the answer to a specific problem. This is true in every industry, every niche, every economy. The moment you stop thinking like a seller and start thinking like a solution provider, you change your entire business. You stop pushing and start attracting. Because people don't want to be sold, they want to be seen. They want someone to look at the chaos in their life and say, I've got you. The offer is how you say that. It's how you invite someone into a better version of themselves without sounding desperate or salesy. When you start to master the art of offers, you begin to understand leverage. You realize that you can take one idea and frame it 5 different ways for 5 different people and multiply your results exponentially. You learn how to package your knowledge so that it speaks to the right person at the right time with the right tone. That's when things accelerate, because now you're not just working hard, you're working smart. You've built a machine that communicates your value even when you're not in the room. Your words become assets. Your message becomes magnetic. Your income becomes scalable. The journey to your first million is not about chasing trends, luck, or waiting for a breakthrough. It's about learning how to package what you already know into something people are ready to buy. That packaging is the offer. It's the bridge between someone's current problem and the future they want. And the stronger, clearer, and more emotionally resonant that bridge is, the faster people will walk across it. The skill of crafting offers is not just about making money. It's about making meaning, building confidence, and stepping fully into your role as a leader, guide, and solution provider in the lives of the people you're called to serve.